Yes. Thank you, Ganesh Prabhu sir, for readily accepting our invitation. And today's chief guest, Naga Jyothi ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much. Even we couldn't meet personally so far, but we had a talk on phone. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for accepting to be chief guest for today's program. And to give a brief about our chief guest, Naga Jyothi Dasri ma'am is a qualified MSc BEd, and her present designation is Joint Commissioner State Taxes. She is working currently in Guntur 2 division. She has entered into this service through Group 1 in 2007. So she has got good experience both with the dealers as well as with professionals. Madam, I request you to give few suggestions to our professionals as well as dealers. What are the problems that you are facing at the time of contacting with the dealers, and what suggestions would you give to our dealers? Thank you, ma'am. Over to you.
Thank you, Barkan. Good evening to all. It's my privilege to address the 6th branch of ICAI Guntur, which is organizing sessions from 13th to 18th June. So, am I audible?
Yes, ma'am. Yes. Please go ahead.
Okay. And it is glad to know that you are in continuous updation of these GST aspects, which is most essential in the present scenario or present GST system. So it is good to know, and you are in that process. So we are somewhat lag in that updation because we are more of this administration aspects. And as we know today, Ganesh Prabhu Garu is addressing the seminar on topic, most important topic of appeals and revisions under GST. So the tax laws or any laws for that matter impose obligations. So such obligations are broadly of two kinds, I think. So tax related and procedure related. So the taxpayer compliance with these obligations is verified by the tax officer. So we can say methods such as scrutiny, audit, inspection, etc. As a result of which statutory demands would be raised due to non-compliances by the taxpayer. So if the difference in view persists, it results in a dispute which is then required to be resolved. So the tax laws recognize that on any given set of facts and laws, there can be different viewpoints or opinions, we can say. Hence, it is likely that taxpayer may not agree with the adjudication proceedings passed by the authority, or equally possible that the department may not be in agreement with the adjudication in some cases. So it is for the reason the statute provide further channels to appeal on both sides. So since a right of appeal is a statutory right, the statute also placed reasonable regulations on exercise of that right. So this includes, we can say, prescribed time limit for filing of appeal and pre-deposits of certain sum before for admission of those appeals. As ours is a dual GST, so that is to say every supply, particularly intrastate supply, we know it attracts both central tax and state tax. So this means that if the taxpayer is aggrieved by the proceedings, he has to approach both the authorities for exercising of his right of appeal? No. So the acts make provision for cross empowerment to ensure that if one proper officer, say SCST, has passed the proceedings, so the appeal or revision shall also lies with that officer only. So as we know, the first level authority is Appellate authority, that is in the state, you can say Appellate Joint Commissioner. In state we are having two agencies in Tirupati and Vijayawada. And second level authority is Appellate Tribunal. And in a state there is no formation of tribunal so far. And further appeals, that is after tribunal, the taxpayers may approach either High Court or Supreme Court in further. So in GST, So unlike previous acts or provisions, the conclusion of appeal process is with appellate authority, as she or he will pass the orders which may confirm, modify, or annul the deficiencies or order appeal against, but shall not refer the case back to the same adjudicating authority that passed said decision. So the order in appeal has to be a speaking order. It should state the point of determination, the decision thereon, and the reasons for the decision. So as we know, the second level appeal is with the tribunal, where appeal can be filed against the order of appellate authority or revision orders. So there is two types of tribunals. So we can say national benches or regional benches and the state benches. So if the place of supply is the issue, then it has to be referred to national benches. At times, the department is not in agreement with the decision or passed by the initial adjudicating authority in such cases. So department can file a revision application or appeal. The laws provide that either side, department or party, if agreed by an order passed by the tribunal, can file appeal before High Court or Supreme Courts. So in essence, the GST law provides an application of opportunity of natural justice to the taxpayer in any way. So basically today's session is on appeals and revisions. We have to learn in detail because from inception of GST up to till date, we have seen many changes in the provisions, both act and rules. Anyhow, today we are going to learn about it through our learned speaker, Prabhu Garu. So in this regard, so I also want to hear this class. In this regard, I thank you, Bhargavi Garu and their team for their efforts in organizing the scheduled classes in a well-planned manner and making me part of this session. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you all. Thank you all.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you so much, ma'am, for your valuable time, despite of your busy schedule. Definitely, we will take your suggestions into consideration. And now I request C. Raghunandan Garu, Treasurer of Guntur branch, to give a brief profile of Ganesh Prabhu sir. Raghu sir, over to you.
Good evening, members. Today, speaker profile of CA Ganesh Prabhu Garu. CA Ganesh Prabhu Balakumar is from Chennai. He had completed.
Sir, please unmute yourself.
Sir, is it audible, ma'am?
Yes, please.
Okay. He completed his Bachelor of Commerce from the University of Madras. He had completed in Masters in Financial Management from Pondicherry University. He had also completed Law from Karnataka State Law University, ISCA from ICAI, Certification Course of Indirect Taxes from ICAI. He is currently working as a partner in C. Ramaswamy and B. Srinivasan Chartered Accountant, Chennai. He has a key roles and responsibilities. As a partner, he has specialized in indirect taxes more than a decade and heading in GST and indirect taxation, compliance, advisory, and litigation vertical practice. As a counsel, he has represented clients in various cases before Customs, Excise, Service Tax Appellate Tribunal, Sales Tax Appellate Tribunal, commissioners, and other adjudicating authorities of GST and indirect taxes. He was involved in GST implementation of various organizations and advised clients across verticals such as manufacturing, construction, entertainment, real estate, retail trade, automobile, education institutions, charitable and religious institutions, hospitality industry, EPC contracts, information technology, etc. As a faculty member, he has extensively toured to several parts of South India to give guest lectures to members, financial professionals, and students in GST during days prior to implementation of GST. And being the master trainer of GST affiliated by Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, has made more than 350 presentations and trained more than 10,000 professionals and 25,000 students and other members in GST at various seminars, meetings, workshops by various organizations such as CII, FICCI, MMA, KMA, AIFTP, etc. He is also a member of GST.
Sir, please unmute yourself.
contributed in development background material on GST law, handbook on annual return, and technical guide on GST audit developed by GST and Indirect Tax Committee. He had presented papers in GST and indirect taxation of SIRC of ICAI branches of SIRC of ICAI. He had also resource person in ICT Academy. He is a visiting faculty in Loyola Institute of Business Administration and all 3 professional courses such as ICAI, ICWAI, ICSI. He is also a member of Governing Council and was immediate Vice President of International Chamber of Indirect Tax Professionals, an association dedicated exclusively on indirect tax. He regularly writes articles in reputed financial diaries and magazines and participated in various shows and debates in television. He had won first prize in All India 5th quiz competition for ICA students conducted by ICA. With this, I welcome today's speaker, Ganesh Prabhu Garu, to our Guntur branch and address our members. Sir, over to the speaker, sir.
Thank you. A very warm welcome to all the members virtually present. Chief guest of the day, Naga Jyothi ma'am, Joint Commissioner, Commercial Taxes, Chairman of Guntur branch, Bhargavi ma'am, Secretary, Treasurer, Raghu sir, for a nice introduction. I thank you, ma'am, for setting the tone for the appeals and revisions in connection with, I was wondering because you have touched up on your keynote address almost every single point in connection with appeals and revisions of GST law. Having said a discussion on this, initially, when the chairman called me and said there is a session on this particular type, I was a little surprised. Mark my words, pan India, I've been vouching this topic across. Maybe this is only happening in Andhra Pradesh and Telangana, a full-fledged discussion on GST law in terms of more post section 61. I often refer from section 1 to section 60, we have discussed enough. There is nothing more to discuss at all. In fact, after section 61 onwards or 60 onwards, maybe starting from even provisional assessment onwards, we have to discuss a lot. When I was being called for to deliberate on this particular topic now, and when I saw the program, was little enthusiastic in knowing how sequentially things are in place. No doubt, a very important topic. Any taxation law always have two views associated with it. GST law is no exception. And that too, when a law like GST law, which is a comprehensive levy, which is bringing in manufacturing, trading, services, all under single banner. And apart from all this, where there is also going to be activities of taxable and exempted in nature, nevertheless, there will be definitely different views, divergent views, different opinions possible. Many times there could be a possibility we may differ from the officer, where there would be a situation that our views and the stand taken by the officer would be different, or vice versa for that matter. Maybe our view was accepted by the adjudicating authority when we presented the case. Later, an authority who sits and review the order, that authority who at a later point in time reviews has a conflicting view or a dissenting view. Because of that reason, the matter is now can be brought into appeal. So always it is possible. Whenever there is an order passed, there is always two sides to an order, like two sides to a coin. Always one person is going to be in an order. And as very rightly said by our chief guest, a right to appeal is a right given under the law. Coming back here, getting into appeals and revisions, this has been discussed as part of chapter number 18 of the CGST Act, starting from section 107 to 121, followed up by a few procedural aspects associated with it is discussed in chapter number 13 of the CGST rules, starting from rule number 108 to 116. I have prepared my presentation in a way that we discuss both rules and the section together wherever possible. As we all know, appeals under GST, often it used to be only 4 steps. Remember the old advertisement called as announcing. I'm not very sure how many of us would be able to recollect. You will have that 4 symbol. Okay. First appellate authority, appellate tribunal, followed by a high court and Supreme Court. What is dealt by the Supreme Court would become the law of land. No doubt about it when it comes to question of laws. Coming back here, starting from section 107, precisely there are sections which discuss about the procedures, powers, constitution of those appellate authority and appellate tribunal. Section 107 is a dedicated section exclusively discuss about the appeal and the appellate authorities' powers confined under the law. 109 to 113 discuss about a tribunal that will be constituted under this act called as Goods and Service Tax Appellate Tribunal. No, Mr. Ganesh, I have been seeing, I have never saw a tribunal which has been constituted. Yes, there are certain challenges on it, which we will take it up when we get into the relevant point of discussion, starting from 109 to 113. Coming back here, in case if the issue is going to be involving a substantial question of law, not a minor question of law, a substantial question of law, then it would be handled, or it would be going to a next level called as appeal to high courts. And finally, in case there are going to be divergent views, there are going to be 2 different views, there is going to be a high court decision saying that yes, you are entitled to claim credit. There is another high court decision saying no, you are not entitled to claim credit. The matter will go back to Supreme Court, and certain matters straight away from appellate tribunal will travel to Supreme Court. Now, what are those matters? How it will travel? What is the procedure? Which issues I can take up before the appellate authority? What issues I cannot take it up before a GST tribunal? What issues are non-appealable issues, or what orders are non-appealable orders? All that we will discuss over the next 90 minutes or so. Coming back here, appeal to first appellate authority. The whole discussion will be revolving around a particular section called as section 107. Any person aggrieved by an order passed by an adjudicating authority. So who is going to be an adjudicating authority? An authority who is having a right to pass an order under this act, other than Commissioner Appeals, other than GST Tribunal, other than CBIC. So authority who have a right to pass an order under this act would be covered as an adjudicating authority. So superintendent, assistant commissioner, deputy commissioner, joint commissioner, all these people, including commissioner. Of course, for some reason, the powers are completely given under the GST law when we peruse section 73 and 74 to joint commissioners and additional commissioners. So coming back here, there is going to be an order. So how this order would get generated? Let us go back and recollect our earlier discussions, which you would have had it on the last 2-3 days, and then assimilate all these thoughts. there is a scrutiny of written happens. That scrutiny of written done by the jurisdictional officer. On that scrutiny of written, the jurisdictional officer has issued a ASMT 10, stating a time limit within which you have to, assessee has to respond. Assessee has not responded. Assessee has failed to respond, or assessee has responded, but there is a different view taken by the officer. Then, or the response of the assessee is not accepted by the officer. Then, a show cause notice will be issued either under section 73 or 74. So scrutiny is one possibility. Followed by post scrutiny of returns. The next leg could be there is a departmental audit happening. On a departmental audit, let's say on the departmental audit, a departmental auditor under section 65 who has visited the premises of the assessee makes certain audit observation, and that audit observation or audit objections are not accepted by the assessee. So again, the matter will go back to 73, 74 and an order will be processed under section 73, 74. It could be an inspection because a third person was involved in certain fraudulent activity. This person was engaged or associated with that person. So a clean inspection under section 67 is 67(1) has happened, and that person is going to come up with a proposal, or it is going to be a cross verification of a data or a cross verification with third party data. It's a pure inquiry or an inspection based order under section 67, which will again follow to 73, 74, or a search. Apart from this, what could be the situations? 3 more situations possible for an appeal before appellate authority. My registration got cancelled, my refund got rejected, or my vehicle was intercepted by an officer under section 67 invoking 138 and rule 138 and 129, or in other words, in simple words, section 129 or 130, confiscation of goods. And again, so coming back here, it is only going to be these circumstances would result in an order. When these circumstances result in an order, no doubt if the assessee is aggrieved by the order passed by an adjudicating authority, and everywhere we have an adjudicating authority, at times it is going to be a jurisdictional officer, at times it is going to be a audit authority, or it is going to be an investigating authority, or it is going to be an enforcement authority, or it is going to be somebody apart from all this. So who have a right to pass order, and that order, if a person, being a person, is aggrieved by that order, then he have a right to prefer an appeal before an appellate authority within a period of 3 months from the date of communication of the order. An appeal can be preferred within a period of 3 months from the date of communication of order. Now that takes us to a little crucial question. What do we mean by communication of the order? Do we somewhere discuss about communication of orders? When we go back to precisely a place called as section 169, that discuss about service of notices in certain circumstances. Not only notices, it discuss about any decision, order, a summon, notice, or any other communication under the Act shall be served by one of the following methods. Many methods are described. The usual and the regular course of method is sending a RPAD or a courier, or handing it over to the authorized person, or one of the newest model, because everything is digitalized, because it is e-assessments, because predominant of the data is processed through the system, sending a communication to the mail ID provided at the time of registration or amended from time to time shall also be considered as a service of order or notice or date of communication. I just want to press up only that point. So coming back here, from the date of communication of order, the appeal shall be filed within a period of 3 months. Will there be some extension? Can it seek some additional time? Let me repeat. 3 months means 3 months. No doubt. Now, in an order, will only the assessee would be agreed? No. At times, an officer who review the order, there are somebody called as reviewing authorities. Very rarely we would be knowing it, unless and otherwise we are not part of any regular activities of the department. We may not know at that time. There are somebody called as a authority. An order passed by a person below the rank of assistant commissioner is reviewed by deputy commissioners and joint commissioners. Any order passed by a rank of joint commissioner or deputy commissioner, it is reviewed by the commissioner. So in case if the order is passed against the interest of revenue, okay, then the GST officer might direct a person to file against the order an appeal before an appellate authority. The fundamental difference is the time limit. When it comes to assessee, the time limit is 3 months from the date of which the order is passed or it is communicated. When it comes to the officer, it is going to be 6 months from the date on which the decision or order is communicated. Coming back here. Appellate authority. First appellate authority can maximum condone a delay up to 1 month. Let me repeat. For some reason, if the assessee is prevented, if the officer is prevented from filing an appeal before the appellate authority, being an appellant to that appellate authority, if for some reason prevented by a sufficient cause, then yes, on a condonation petition filed before the appellate authority may condone a delay. Let me repeat, it is not shall condone a delay, it is may condone a delay which can be maximum of 1 month. In other words, if somebody surpasses that 1 month time limit, I am sorry, they lose their right to file an appeal. Enough decisions of High Court we have. A right to appeal is a statutory right. It is given under the law and it is given with certain time limit, and that time limit has to be adhered. There are no backdoor entries to all this. Let me coming back here. Appeal has to be filed against any of this order. I am not getting into what is going to be your issue associated here. Your issue can be an issue in connection with registration. Your issue can be a classification issue, whether the rate of tax will be 12 or 18. Your issue can be an issue whether your service is taxable or exempted. Your issue can be an issue whether your ITC that you have taken is entitled or not. Your issue can be an issue in connection with whether the credit taken in 3B, which is not reflecting in 2A, whether it is applicable or not. Your issue can be an issue in connection with you have imported goods, you have not paid RCM under RCM on ocean freight, it is liable. Your issue can be any issue. I'm not getting into your issue at all. If you feel that order is not proper at your level, being an assessee, being an appellant, if the person feels that if he is aggrieved by the order passed by the adjudicating authority, then he has a right to appeal, and that right to appeal has to be exercised within the said time limit. Failing which, exercising it beyond this time, and that too beyond continuation of this continuation of delay, is close to impossible. Will this right to appeal comes at scot-free? No. The GST law, in fact, just for your discussion itself, for the first time, the law distinguishes between something called as admitted tax and something called as disputed tax. For the first time. Because if it is admitted tax, then 100% of the admitted tax, interest, penalty, fee, fine, if any, arising out of the order has to be paid in full. In other words, 100% of admitted tax has to be paid. Followed by, in case of tax in dispute, ITC in dispute, or it is going to be a differential tax on account of classification, valuation is in dispute, then 10% of the remaining tax amount in dispute has to be paid, which can go as maximum as 25 crores. Let's say, for example, there is somebody fighting out an order which is passed by the additional commissioner, where the amount involved is 95 lakhs. Then that order now lies before an appellate authority. On that 95 lakh, complete 95 lakhs is going to be disputed. Then as simple as that, 10% of 95 lakhs. No, Mr. Ganesh, it is 95 lakhs EGST, 95 lakhs SGST. Very simple. Then it is 9.5 lakh CGST payable, 9.5 lakh SGST payable, 10% of tax. So 10% of the disputed tax shall be paid in upfront, and then the appeal can be filed based on a certain procedure to be followed. Coming back here, when it comes to this computation of this 10%, let's observe the order. If completely you are going to, all the taxes that are there are disputed tax, then nothing. Complete demand of tax into 10% is paid. At times what happens are at least 2 or 3 exceptional appeals we have in our hand, where honestly this is an error. July 2017, assessee files a first return, July 2017 return, he files way back in August or September, that time. He is not much mature, he was a trader doing good trading turnover. The value of purchase, let me repeat, the value of purchase was seeded in the ITC column of IGST. When he saw 3 columns in the GST or 3B return, in IGST column, he has seeded the value of purchase, let's say for a convenience, 1 crore. In CGST column, rightly seeded 9 lakhs of CGST. SGST column, rightly seeded 9 lakhs of SGST. 1 crore 18 lakhs claimed the credit. Utilized the CGST, utilized the SGST. It took 8 months for him to realize why this 1 crore is hanging here in IGST. What is this number? End of March, closely to February 2018, during the interim audit, on the issue being escalated to the management, then they dig in, then they understood that there was an error. Voluntarily in March 2018, they have reversed that 1 crore. In other words, a wrong number was seeded in the GST R3B, and the same was reversed in March. Now, issue is this. Post all this later, way back in 2021, in fact, to be more precise, in March 2021, a departmental audit for the period 17-18, 18-19, 19-20 happens. And in that departmental audit, this issue is getting objected because of usage of the words that are there, credit availed or utilized. Now this word goes for an amendment under section 50, more precisely 53. Because of usage of the word wrong credit, wrongly availed or utilized, the officer accepts the wrong reversal, but the officer demanded interest, which runs to 12 lakh rupees. For wrongly seeding the data, the cost is 12 lakhs. It never stopped there. Further, it went on to a penalty at the rate of 10% under section 73. So the cost now is 14 lakhs. Now, I'm not going to bother about all these numbers that we will win, that's separate. But my point here is, entire amount of ITC I have reversed. Do I need to pay pre-deposit? In fact, my notice itself will be issued only for interest and penalty. My order will be issued to me only for interest and penalty. I am now before the appellate authority only for interest and penalty, quoting the amended provisions of section 50 subsection 3, saying that it is effective from 1/1/2017 that credit wrongly availed and utilized. Now coming back here. We took a position, it should be read 10% of remaining amount of tax. Tax means tax. Tax will not include interest. Tax will not include penalty. Tax will not include a fine. Tax means tax. And we filed a appeal before the authority. A deficiency memo was served to us saying that no, 10% is not paying. 10% of the amount was not paid. Again, it was being clarified and replied, and later the deficiency memo was being rejected and the appeal got admitted. So my point of submission here is, at times you will come across a situation where 100% of tax would have been paid. We would be before only for interest and penalty, preferably in all the ITC related issues. In that circumstances, pre-deposit of 10% on a careful reading of section 107 subsection 6 would not be applicable. Followed by, if the issue is going to be detention of a vehicle, if the issue is going to be confiscation of a goods, then 25% of the penalty amount has to be paid as pre-deposit, and then the appeal can be filed. The moment the pre-deposit is made as per section 107 subsection 6 and an appeal is also filed and the said fact is intimated to the jurisdictional officer, it is deemed the said recovery proceedings which need to commence will be automatically stayed. The recovery proceedings will be stayed automatically provided all this is being done, and an appeal in case if assessee is going to prefer against the admitted tax is being complied with. Coming back here, getting into a procedural discussion. Yes, we have received an order. We read through the order. We are aggrieved by the order passed by the officer. We are interpreting the provisions like this, but the officer interprets it in a different way. We do understand this different views is possible, and this topic is open for divergent views, and that is the reason for difference. If an order is passed, then technically, if a person prefer an appeal, then he shall file a form called as Form GST APL 01. Basic information of the assessee or the applicant is captured. Post basic information, the adjudicating authority passing the order, the address, email ID, mobile number of the adjudicating authority, address, name, GST number, supplier, address of the applicant. In case applicant engages an authorized representative, those people, basic information, followed by. On the order, what is going to be the admitted tax on the order, what is going to be the disputed tax. I have received an order for 14.5 lakhs. I do agree, 2.5 lakhs I have to pay. Yes, I would convert that as an admitted tax along with interest, along with penalty. I will pay, close it off. But to the contrary, the other 12 lakhs is disputable. Then on that 12 lakhs, 10%, lakh and 20,000 has to be paid. How would I pay this? Very simple. The moment we feed in the number, how much is the disputed tax, how much is the
Sadu. Ipde mali phone chesadu. 300 కావాలి. 300 ఏనా 6 ఉన్నాయి.
How much is the disputed tax? How much is going to be the differential tax when on a basic working, if it is done? The amount of the disputed tax, 10%, has to be paid in cash, and that cash money can be adjusted. Again, two challenges before us and two school of thoughts are associated with it. Can I use my input tax credit and set off my appeal related liabilities? Let me repeat. We are now before what sort of issue is going to be more important. If the issue is something to do with input tax credit, I am with you. We can definitely pay the 10% of tax through credit. However, highly subjective, unless and otherwise we get the concurrence of the respective appellate authority or their appellate authority's office, there might be different views on this is possible. To the contrary, there is another view that would float. Oh, no, this 10% has to be paid only by cash. If it is only by cash, then it has to be mentioned somewhere. There is no reference or mention about all that. So coming back here, a pre-deposit is possible both by cash and credit, and in fact the scheme will also allow, the form will also allow. In the form, on the respective columns it would be feeded in, and post the basic information is taken care. In the GST APL 01, maybe I would say 4 documents becomes more important. Document number 1, a statement of facts. A very brief discussion, maybe 1.5 page note from where it has started to what order is issued and why the assessee is aggrieved on this order today. All this should be captured as part of this statement of facts. And telling a story short is not so easy. It will come over a period of time. When we used to draft appeals originally, my senior partner often used to crib about me, 3.5 page statement of facts. No officer will have time to read it. Make it simple, make it simple, make it simple. And now, okay, we come up at 1.5 pages, but he used to say beyond 1 page, it should not be. But in any case, it's difficult. I'm still researching on it. When I have a demand for 4.5 crores and you want me to make it up a statement of facts in 1 pages, it's not that so easy. Case to case, it would differ. But the point here that I want to drive home here is a very crisp statement of facts, followed by grounds of appeal, on what ground we are going to defend the order. Let me repeat, ground after ground has to be raised. A ground, maybe if we have about 6 grounds, 8 grounds, 10 different grounds on seeing an order, if the officer has rejected a refund, why they have rejected the refund? Question that. Why they have rejected? No, they said the value should not be, this is not a zero rated turnover, or this is being an exempted goods, it is not entitled. Whatever be it, one after the other ground will be there. Ensure the procedural compliances which need to be done under section 73, 74, or its related rule 142, 145. All these procedural compliances are there. In case if there are any procedural lapse, it need to be raised at that level itself. For example, when a show cause notice, where the law says a show cause notice can be issued, prior to that a form DRC 1A has to be issued. If DRC 1A is not issued straight away from the audit memo or the audit objection, if we have a show cause notice under form DRC 1 where a summary order means summary is also prepared, then show cause notice is also issued, it will not be valid. So that ground has to be raised at reply itself. So these are all some of the technical points that need to be looked. So we will distinguish. Grounds has to be what is your core ground on the merits of your case. What is the grounds on the technical aspects, something to do with GST portal, non-viability in the portal or things like that. And then on a generic grounds, principles of natural justice, equity, all that. So coming back here, all these grounds has to be serially numbered, written one after the other, and this grounds of appeal and the statement of facts shall form part of the APL 01 as an annexure. Apart from that, detailed written submissions on the grounds of appeal. A very crystal and clear detailed written submissions on some of the grounds of appeal. At times, let me repeat, not every time, at times, assessee might come to us at the last minute. Maybe there will be hardly left only 2 weeks, 3 weeks to file the appeal. 2 weeks to file the appeal and all is last minute only. I'm sorry. No, Mr. Ganesh, 2 days before only is last minute. Within 2 days, you cannot do anything. No honest appeal submissions can be done. Some here and there it can be done. Honest appeal submissions requires a minimum of 2 days. That too, if it is high-pitched demand, the time goes somewhere around 2 months and all. Coming back here, In case of all these appeal related matters, if at the last minute clients comes, maybe we can draft a statement of fact, peruse the document, what are all our objections, we can browse down and say these are all the grounds we are going to defend. Maybe we will not have the time to submit a detailed written submissions in connection with it. At that circumstances, we can procedurally postpone it. There is nowhere written in the law that it can be deferred. Technically, law expects along with GST APL 01, all documents are submitted. The respective decision, the reply to show cause notice, the show cause notice, followed by the grounds of appeal and the written submissions on grounds of appeal, case law related, everything. Appeal need to be filed in a very particular, precise format in this way. At times, because of paucity of time, because of the technicality of the issue involved in it, or because of warrant of additional evidences, additional document, X, Y, Z reasons, in case if there is a delay, then statement of facts, grounds of appeals can be drafted and the appeal can be filed through APL 01. If the order is served in online, if the order is also available in the GST portal, and it should be usual practice, it should be, then we can file an appeal in the online. For some of the jurisdictions, in some of the places, the GST portal facilities are all not enabled. We still get a physical copy of the order. From the date of receipt, with the next 3 months, we'll file a manual appeal. That's all. We'll pay the pre-deposit 10%, but file a manual appeal saying that we have paid, with a little declaration that we will not use this money for any purposes for other than this. Or at times we have been asked to file a DRC03 along with that. Along with DRC03, we go and file it. This is two alternative models that are there. Coming back here. Once the appeal is filed online, it doesn't mean it is completely filed. I'm sorry. No, APL 01 filed means we file it and get a provisional acknowledgement. After getting a provisional acknowledgement in online, whatever documents we have filed, which is basically the APL 01 form, the provisional acknowledgement, the show cause notice, reply to show cause notice, order, again, grounds of statement of facts, grounds of appeal, return submission, case laws relied upon, all need to be made as one single submission. Documents has to be physically submitted to the jurisdictional appellate authority. Physical copy has to be submitted. Within how many days? If it is filed online, within 7 days from the date of online submission. Then what I did in online submission is called as provisional acknowledgement. On the day in which it is physically handed over, and then any person authorized by the appellate authority would give a APL 02, a formal final acknowledgement bearing an appeal number for that. That alone would be considered as appeal has been filed before an appellate authority. Let me repeat. We come across 1 or 2 instances where APL 01 is filed, provisional acknowledgement is taken. They are not aware of the process that they have to submit the physical document within 7 days. I'm sure now majority of us are aware. These all happened maybe 2-3 years before. Because of COVID, they missed. XYZ reasons are there. But let me repeat it. It is one of the requirements within 7 days. If assessee is or the appellant is prevented by various costs, and the appellant has his own reason to say that for within 7 days is he unable to make an application, then very simple. If he makes if he submit after online submission after 7 days, then the day in which it is submitted physically, that day would be considered as date of filing. So that 3 months criteria, the 30 days criteria, all this will have its own hit associated with it. So already I am on a extension date, means I should not seek further extensions. If already appeal is filed on the 27th day, extended day, that is, let's say 3 months period is over, within only next 1 month is there, within that 27th day it is filed, I should not keep aram, say 6 days, 7 days. It has to be done. I'm just highlighting the meticulous requirement of it. If in case they make a delay there, it goes for a toss. So coming back here, this is in connection with the procedure associated with filing an appeal. Appeal drafts can be in a very simple language. What is the intention of the applicant? Why he is being aggrieved? And what is in his defense that he has? In case if he is going to rely upon certain provisions, circular, what are the relied upon provisions or circular? In case if we rely upon certain case laws, interpretation, or the erstwhile laws interpretation that are brought in, or the erstwhile law circular, or an apex court decision, or it is various other submissions, then all shall be made in certain chronological order and submitted along with APL 01. Additionally, 4 attachments are allowed of 5 MB, and anything is going to be more than that, then often we can always submit it in the physical mode. Coming back here, if in case the officer is aggrieved by the order passed by a adjudicating authority, and the officer is aggrieved against the interest of revenue, in the interest of revenue, on the order passed by adjudicating authority, then the officer would make an application either through online or manually in a form called as APL 03. Nothing great about it. Similarly, after filing the online documentation, they should ensure within 7 days the document is physically handed over and a final acknowledgement is obtained in APL 0. That would make the case that yes, an appeal against the order is filed, and wherever it is from the assessee side, if it involves a pre-deposit, and if the pre-deposit is also made, no doubt, automatically the stay will get recovered. Once an appeal is filed, an APL 02 is obtained, as a matter of procedural requirement, it is always recommended to intimate the jurisdictional officer, because the jurisdictional officer has passed an order. After passing an order, the jurisdictional officer is of no clue what the assessee is going to do. Officer passed an order stating that this amount of ITC you are not entitled to claim because it is not reflected in GSTR 2A. We will not give you, and as per section 73, under section 73 has issued a show cause notice and also processed an order for a particular financial year based on an audit recommendation, or reasons might be anything. Now, he only has an order in his hand defending 13 lakh rupees is disallowed along with interest and penalty 10%. Now, assessee has went on appeal. How the jurisdiction officer will know? It becomes the responsibility of the appellant to make a copy made available to the jurisdictional officer intimating the fact we have filed an appeal, it is numbered in so and so, and it has been there. So kindly don't proceed with any recovery operations and all. We have paid our 10%. Just a formal intimation would help, because at times what happens, we would be interacting with the appellate authority. That side officer might proceed with recovery operation or issues recovery notices because he is not aware. Very simple. And it is one of the duty of the appellant to ensure the jurisdictional officer is also intimated of this fact. Rule 109A, which is amended way back in 2019, discuss about who will be the appellate authority. If an order is passed by additional commissioner or joint commissioner, That is, the person who is signing the order is going to be additional commissioner or joint commissioner. Usually, state government operate in a different modality. Central government operate in a different modality. For central government, a clear circular is issued if the amount is going to be more than 1 crore rupee under section 73 or 74, then it shall be processed only by the joint commissioner or additional commissioner of the respective jurisdiction. In case amount, they have parameters up to 20 lakhs, up to 50 lakhs, all that. When it comes to state government, many states operate on a mode and it is different from state to state. Assistant commissioners have wide power. Assistant commissioners have very wide powers. And in fact, they can sign notices for any crores also because they are the head of office of that particular jurisdiction. And there are no demarcations like what we have under the central government, a specific demarcation under VAT laws. So coming back here, if the order is passed by assistant commissioner or deputy commissioner or superintendent, as the case may be, then the first appellate authority will be joint commissioner. In case if the order is passed by joint commissioner or additional commissioner, then the first appellate authority will be commissioner. The first appellate authority to whom we have to go file the case, appear, everything is going to be based on who has passed the order. The person who has passed the order is additional or joint commissioner, then we have to appear before Commissioner Appeals. The person who has passed the order is assistant or deputy commissioner, then we have to appear before JC. And predominantly, majority of these states, we have only JC appeals, state government. Central government, we have both the appeals, JC appeal as well as commissioner appeal. So this is about the person to whom we have to go and appear. Followed by what this appellate authority can do, or what is that appellate authority is going to do. Once we file an appeal, we've been aggrieved by the order. Having we been aggrieved by the order, we give our statement of facts. We give our grounds why we are aggrieved by the order. Followed by, we give documents, submissions, evidences, decisions, all that. Appellate authority will now look into the matter. He will review the order. He will review the case. And appellate authority shall grant an opportunity of being heard to the appellate. Let me repeat. In principles of natural justice, one of the very important principle of natural justice is opportunity of being heard. Giving a person an opportunity of being heard is something very important. Very popularly called as OBH, opportunity of being heard. Without OBH or without an opportunity of being heard, usually no appeal will be passed. An opportunity of being heard will be given. For some reason known to the assessee. Assessee is unable to turn up for a particular day when the hearing was fixed. He can seek adjournment. Maximum number of adjournments that is possible is 3 adjournments under the law. So maybe he wants some more time for presenting the case in a more better way. Maybe he is traveling on that day, or his associated, his respective authorized representative is not available on that day, or reasons can be anything. He is not well, whatever be the reason. Important point to be noted down here is on reason recorded in writing. 3 dates it can be adjourned, or 3 different dates. And here, let me repeat it. We have come across situations which are all, at times it is not very good from the interest of the appellant and all. For example, there was a personal hearing notice which said Either come on 17th or 18th or 19th. Sorry, no. It is wrong. I am boss, I am not available for that whole week, 16 to 21. And you ask me to come on 17th or 18th or 19th, means what, I given 3 opportunities? No, nothing doing. 3 full opportunity means 3 full opportunity need to be given. Every time notice has to be served. Every time it has to be received. And if the other party has given his extension or seeking time adjournment, then it has to be accepted. Then again, it has to be given. Law is very clear. And without giving an opportunity of being heard, they will not pass orders. If they pass an ex parte order, there will be a justification for passing. It will be very clearly told why I am passing an ex parte order. Law uses a word shall grant an opportunity of being heard. Followed by the adjudicating authority will make necessary inquiry, will look the matter afresh, will see through everything, and then passes an order. The order that he passes is going to be final, no doubt about it. In between, what and all will happen practically if we discuss. At times, with due respect, when the appeal is presented to us, we read through it, when we fix the grounds and then we fight. Meanwhile, there will be new developments, and normally it takes 6 months to 8 months to get the matter listed, and then we go and appear before the appellate authority. During the 6 to 8 months, we will have new developments. For example, one of the case in connection with reverse charge mechanism on ocean freight, the newest development is Mohit Mandal Apex Court decision, which is confirming a view that in case of ocean freight, RCM is not applicable. Though our earlier submissions had the Gujarat High Court decision and said the matter is pending, stay is also granted for the operation of the decision. All that we have referred. Now we have the final verdict of the decision, which need to be supplemented. Or at times, because of things like this, there would be a possibility we should have genuinely raised one ground before the officer. We failed to raise that ground. No doubt, it's as I often feel it, it is always a art. It's not a science. With due respect, it is not a science. Filing APL 01, all that is a science. Arriving grounds of appeal is an art. Arriving statement of facts is an art. In fact, those papers followed up by a detailed written submission are the crux of the appeal. Not filing APL 01. With due respect, which often my team members in the and intern usually used to do. I say, boss, filing APL 01, don't get excited. Have you written the statement of facts? Have you pressed upon all the grounds in the matter? Have you drafted completely the detailed written submission associated with it? Then be happy about it. Now, in case if a ground is not being pressed or not being, it is not being pressed is next. A ground is not being taken before the appellate authority. If you want to take that ground now, then appellate authority may allow the appellant to add any ground during the appeal is under proceeding. Only ensuring that it is not willfully not willfully not omitted. It is not contentious. With something, there is no very specific reason associated. Coming back here. Post arguments, post explaining the case, post presenting the relevance of the earlier decisions, explaining the case law, officer will pass the order. Possible decisions, outcome of the appellate authority can be broadly, he may confirm the order, he can modify the original order, or he may annul the order. Under GST law, I had all three experience. There are cases of certain matters in connection with refund, the order is annulled, completely quashed. It is quashed. There are cases where a few cases we pressed upon come tax benefits, Rule 35 benefit. So order got modified, demand got reduced. Certain orders, it got confirmed because the issues of that nature. Coming back here, Appellate authority has the power either to confirm, modify or annul. Kindly make a note. Appellate authority, precisely the Joint Commissioner Appeal or the Commissioner Appeals, before whom we represent and press upon the facts, they cannot remand back the matter to the adjudicating authority for a fresh adjudication, which means a power to remand is not available to the appellate authority. Appellate authority can only confirm, modify or annul the order. Appellate authority cannot remand back the matter for a fresh adjudication. At times, the decision might be enhancing the penalty, enhancing the fine, or reducing the ITC, or reducing the refund amount might be passed in the order. In those circumstances, no doubt, opportunity of being heard should be given. Those orders cannot be passed. That is to say, officer adjudicating authority has passed saying that 12 lakh rupees ITC is ineligible. Now, appellate authority says, boss, 12 lakh rupees ITC is not eligible. I have screened through his document very carefully. It is 16 lakh rupees ITC is not eligible, which means officer is enhancing the demand, or officer is going to reduce the ITC which is already available or taken there, or reduce the refund which has been already granted. Already that fellow agreed for 35 lakhs. One of the client's case, assessee is an exporter. Assessee is an exporter of cardamom and rice. Apart from this, assessee buys various walnut, this clove, dry fruits, grams, all this and all. He deals. Both he deals in domestic market and export market. He filed a refund application because predominant of the rice procurement he makes, he export to foreign country. So what we did is very simply told export turnover, zero rated turnover by total turnover into ITC. In one of the refund application, and in Tamil Nadu, it is faceless. Refund application is faceless. The officer, PO officer, proper officer who is sitting somewhere has taken up the refund, processed the refund, and the officer who has processed the refund went to a next level of understanding. He has analyzed my Annexure B. Annexure B is the statement that we use to feed all the information in connection with what are all the transactions of ITC taken. He has did the analysis. You have submitted your Annexure B for 56 lakh rupees. Of this 56 lakh, only 16 lakhs relates to rice. Balance does not relate to rice. So your ITC would be entitled, the entitled ITC would be export turnover divided by total turnover, not into net ITC, which is as per 54.389.4 formula, all that and all. No, it is as per the 16 lakhs. I have analyzed. This is related to rice. This is related to cardamom. I will allow. This is related to something else. I was surprised to know where all this is told in the rule book. Very interesting. Now, filed the appeal before the first appellate authority, and the first appellate authority agreed. Was the words used under 89.4 is net ITC. Net ITC means ITC available on the end of the day. In that itself, internally, you have three restrictions: ITC available on that day, ITC today available, and ITC which has been there. You are entitled for. So, coming back here, my crux discussion is cases like this. Already officer has reduced the refund. If the appellate authority is going to further reduce the refund, mandatorily opportunity of being heard should be given. Else, in the next appeal, we will invoke the provisions of principles of natural justice is not followed, because the appellate authority has reduced the refund from the original amount, where especially you should have given an opportunity, failing which the order should be quashed. So before the appellate tribunal, we have to place this ground. So coming back here, while processing the appeal before the appellate authority, all these points are also being into consideration and discussions. Moving forward, it's a recommendatory time limit that the officer, that is the appellate authority, shall pass an order within a period of 1 year from the date of filing the appeal. Within 1 year from the date of filing the appeal, he shall pass the order. Take up once appeal is filed. Within 1 year, it has to be disposed of. Internal time limit. By and large, the officers are adhering to the time limit associated with it. 1 or 2 backlogs here and there, or 1 or 2 little hyper technical issues that we have. Positions are contradictory, or the matter is pending before the higher forum. So we ourselves would have told boss the decision on that case before the higher forum would be my decision also. When the matter is going to be res judicata, in those circumstances, yes, it will be. It is this time limit, recommendatory time limit, is not adhered. Coming back here, the order which is passed by the appellate authority, a copy of the order is also sent, apart from the applicant, respondent, and the adjudicating authority. The copy of the order is also sent to the SGST commissioner, UTGST commissioner. In connection with every order of the applicant is passed, it will also be there. At times, appellant files a writ petition before the court and stay certain matters, stay recovery proceedings, file a writ before the court. Those tenure of stay from the day in which writ appeal is filed and the writ appeal is got disposed, that period should not be included while computing this 1 year period. Within 1 year, it has to be completed. Already there is a recommendatory time limit, but government ought to be little cautious in connection with associated with that tenure. Appeal, order in appeal, or OIA, or the order passed by the appellate authority, if it is favorable to applicant, good, revenue will be agreed. If it is favorable to respondent, good, appellant will be agreed. End of the day, in an order, there will be an aggrieved party. The other aggrieved party now has the option of filing an appeal before an appellate tribunal. That takes us the discussion to the next level of raising our bar in connection with discussions on appellate tribunal. Before we getting into it, I have coined certain common points, parked it separately. We will take it up. Who is an authorized representative? What will happen to pre-deposit if we win? All that and all, I'll take it up when we go to the other topic. Prima facie, this is the process in connection with appeal. That too, an appeal before first appellate authority, which left, right, center. Today, for majority of the orders, we file appeal before this. This is the process followed. And this is the methodology associated with it. Now, here, no, my order is not served in online. It is served offline only. We may go and request the officer to serve it online. If the officer says, no, online facilities, online servicing of notices through online is not activated for us, then as simple as that. What is served offline, we will proceed with that and file an appeal before the appellate. Okay, manually, filing appeals manually. There is nowhere told it has to be filed only online alone. If it is online available, online. If it is offline available, offline. So both ways it has been happening in connection with this. So that support the appeal to the first appellate authority. Any questions in connection with first appellate authority before getting into appellate tribunal, which is the next league of us? Any questions on appellate authority? Yes, I would take it up. appeal before any first appellate court. Yes. Any questions that are there? Yes, I would take it up on appeal before first appellate. Because when it comes to appellate tribunal, it will be little subjective because the appellate tribunal is yet to be constituted. Broadly, we will read about everything, but the real nuances of the appellate tribunal, once the appellate tribunal rules comes, then only we could able to really enjoy what has been associated with it. Yes. Okay, I'll proceed further. Appeals to appellate tribunal. When it comes to appellate tribunal, let me have a caveat here. Based on the current provisions that it stands today, as it is standing today, we are discussing it. Revenue Tax Bar Association versus Union of India, Madras High Court decision. The Madras High Court decision has stayed the formation of the GST Appellate Tribunal, Goods and Service Tax Appellate Tribunal. What is the problem in constituting the GST Appellate Tribunal? If you see this section 109, this is the problem. There are various points at which is argued before the Madras High Court. One of the strongest point of arguments before the Madras High Court was there are more number of technical member as compared to judicial member. There are more number of technical member as compared to judicial member. If we go back and see everywhere, one member technical state, one member technical center, and one judicial member will be present. If tomorrow the member technical, both the member technical want to take up a position, at that time, though in the eyes of the law something looks judicially right, that decision cannot win. Apart from this, there are many other reasons. Okay, but one of the notable reason is this. Because of that reason, the matter is still pending before the Apex Court, and the government has also not constituted till today the GST Appellate Tribunal. We are of a view very soon, at least down the line 3 to 6 months, the GST Appellate Tribunal will be constituted. If it is going to be constituted, how it will be, how it will be located? The GST Appellate Tribunal will have a principal bench, a national bench at Delhi, where it will be headed by the national president, and it will have regional benches. In almost all states, it will have one regional benches. Apart from the state having its own state bench and area bench. There will be state benches and there will also be area benches. For example, if I understand, in Andhra Pradesh, we will have a regional bench in Vijayawada and state and area area benches in both Vizag and Tirupati. So coming back here, there is going to be differences. A bench constituted by state government, a bench constituted by central government. Bench basically the number of members who sit and discuss the matter before the tribunal. National president will be sitting at the center, New Delhi, and apart from the national president, there will be member technical center and member technical state, followed by a regional bench in every region will have one judicial member and one technical member center and one technical member state. Followed by the state benches will have a state president, and apart from the state president, there will be one technical member center and one technical member state. Followed by area bench, you will have one member technical and one member technical center and state, and followed by a judicial member. In nutshell, if you see, the number of technical members is more than the number of judicial member. So one of the plea before the courts were any dispute on law, a judicial member would have an upper hand in connection with it. Now, in the formation itself, they have made a point very clear. Any issues in connection with place of supply, wherever place of supply comes, be it an order passed by a SGST officer, be it an order passed by a CGST officer, matter lies only before regional bench or national bench. That is to say, if the order is passed by a SGST officer, a Visakhapatnam assistant commissioner assess a matter, says, it's a live case, says you are not delivering the goods in the middle of the sea in exclusive economic zone to the oil rig, you are delivering at the port itself. So you are delivering the goods at Kakinada itself. You are not delivering the goods on the high sea or on the, on the oil, near the oil rig. So your place of supply is Kakinada. Your place of supply is not that EEZ, exclusive economic zone. So what is happening? Earlier, my place used to be EEZ, so I would be paying IGST. Now it would be CGST, SGST. Who has passed an order? Visakhapatnam GST officer has passed an order, against which we will file an appeal before the Joint Commissioner. Joint Commissioner appeal lies on, based on areas. It has been lying on, let's say, Vijayawada for our convenience. Appeal lies before Vijayawada. Now, the Vijayawada officer, Appellate authority, will pass an order. Technically, if an SGST officer passes an order, the matter should go to a state bench. But unfortunately, this issue, principal issue, one of the issue or the principal issue, in that order, principal issue itself is an issue in connection with place of supply, means it will go to regional bench. It will not come to state bench. That is the distinction. A very careful distinction. If the issue involves place of supply, it will be handled by national bench and regional bench. If the issue involves other than place of supply, it will be handled by state bench and area bench. Followed by the state national president and the state president of the respective benches. Whenever we refer state president, it is the state bench head. Whenever we refer national president, national bench head. Okay. The national bench head and the state bench head have a little higher powers. They can transfer the matter. They can distribute the benches. This matter will be passed by them. That matter will be handled by them. They can transfer. Similarly, for certain union territories, states, on the request of a particular state or by own motion, they can allocate the appellate authority. For example, Lakshadweep, they would have allocated Kerala, nearby area. Lakshadweep being a union territory, but any person want to prefer an appeal against order passed in Lakshadweep, then he has to come to Appellate Tribunal of the Kerala. So coming back here, the core discussion of this is, upon constituting the GST Appellate Tribunal, president, state president, national president can distribute the business transfer the cases among themselves, and further based on approval by the state president or the national president. If a matter does not involve question of law, where the differential tax or the ITC or the penalty is payable less than 5 lakh rupees, it can be handled by a single member bench itself. A single member bench can handle it. These are all certain powers given under 109. Followed by, what are the qualifications? What is the process of appointment? And what is the time limit, tenure of their services? In connection with that, president shall be a judge of a Supreme Court. Any judge of Supreme Court can become a president, national president. Any chief justice of High Court can become a national president. Or he is being a judge of a High Court and served for a period more than 5 years, then he can become a president. Similarly, a judicial member can be a judge of a High Court, or any person, though he is a district court judge, but he is a qualified High Court judge, or he has been into Indian legal service, a member of an Indian legal service for a period more than 3 years. These people can become a judicial member. Similarly, in case of an IRS officer of a stated number of years of experience, or any person more than additional commissioner in a state government, he is an additional commissioner and he has served the office of additional commissioner for a period more than specified years, they can become member technical state and member technical center. So these are the qualification requirement. Let me repeat, there is no challenge in qualification requirement. In fact, the appointment shall be by either Chief Justice of India or the nomination committee. All that and all is very specific only. There are other reasons associated with it in connection with the revenue bar has raised its hand, and many courts, many high courts, Delhi High Court has given its opinion. We have other few courts have also given it opinion in connection with the said decision. Matters are pending before the Apex Court. Once based on the decision, the GST, once based on the decision of the Apex Court, the GST tribunal will be formed in no time. What are the powers? What powers the Appellate Tribunal has? Very interesting to note, Appellate Tribunal can regulate itself. It can come up with its own procedure. What is the procedure to be followed in the Appellate Tribunal? We have the SESTAT rules. When we fall back on the PDGST regime, we have a specific rules. Central Excise Service Tax Appellate Tribunal rules. That rules will prescribe the norms, modality, procedure, forms, everything associated with it. Basically, Appellate Tribunals has the power of a civil court. What a civil court has power? It can summon anybody. It can enforce anybody's attendance and make it mandatory. It can call for any document. It can take statements. Appellate Tribunals can take statements on affidavits. On evidences, they can take statements. It can call for any public record, or it can examine certain documents which they want to verify. I still remember one of our earlier decisions in connection with tribunal. We have went and made a point very clearly. One of the objections, it is also a learning point which we all know. See, at times, today it is not happening because many data we submit through online only. But there were days when we went and submitted certain information before the jurisdictional officer. The jurisdictional officer at times used to say, no, you take back the document, I'll give you signature tomorrow. And there are many times they used to say, we will not sign today, we can't, we have to verify all the documents, how we can verify, without verifying how we can sign. All that stuff, whatever you want to say, you'll say, I'm not finding fault with them. Okay. We have come across officers like that. Okay. Very rarely. Now, one of such officer has rejected the matter. Though documents were submitted, at a later point in time, he reversed the whole situation and said no documents were submitted. As he told, no, sir, we submitted the documents. In fact, we made certain remarks and all. Very interesting note, that day the managing director, he himself would have went. We made a point before the tribunal, in the pre-GST regime, saying that, Your Honors, you may review the CCTV records of the specified commissionerate. Also the public record, the entry register of the commissionerate. The assessee on this particular day went and met this officer. And of course, the purpose will not be there. Your Honors, we want to bring a genuinity that we have made our efforts and submitted the document, Your Honors. This was the only plea. Very interesting note. It was called for. A week later it came. A CCTV footages also came. Of course, we never much bothered about CCTV. The member was convinced, yes, assessee went, this is the person. See, we don't know. It was a matter of 1.25 crore refund under the pre-GST regime. The point that I want to drive home here is, at times, these are all the points that courts can call. What powers the civil court has, same power the appellate tribunal will also have associated with it. Quickly coming back here, having discussed about the how it will be formed, what will be power, what will be the constitution, what is regional bench, what is area bench, what is state bench, what is national bench, all that and all. What matters will go to appellate tribunal. Only two matters. Any person aggrieved by an order passed by an appellate authority. Already he filed an appeal before the appellate authority. Appellate authority also confirmed the same order. Now he will be aggrieved. I'll fight the matter now at tribunal. And followed by, at times, there is a process called as revision process, which will be done by a revisional authority. Any person aggrieved by an order passed by a revisionary authority, then he may file an appeal before the appellate. Any person aggrieved by the order passed by an appellate authority, or any person aggrieved by an order passed by a revision authority. There is a revisionary powers under section 108 of the CGST Act. We'll come to that little later. Just aware there is a revision powers. That is, there is something called as review. He will review and he will file an appeal before appellate authority itself. In case they miss the matter, they can revisit. How they can revisit? The C&AG person will come, no, this is wrong, they will say. Then a revisionary order, then it will be taken up on a revisionary order. A revisionary order will be passed under section 108. Once under 108, a revisionary order is passed, assessee will get aggrieved. Once assessee is aggrieved, now he will be before the appellate tribunal. For example, on few transactional credits, we have this points. But very interesting to note, they said it is a suppression of facts and issued a 74 notice itself. But technically, a 74 notice cannot be issued. Technically 73, 74 for transactional credits, whether notice can be issued itself is the biggest dispute associated with it. That's a parking point. But points for our discussion is exceptional. It was an order passed in favor of the assessee. It got missed. Maybe there were no reviewers authority, or it was not reviewed. It was dropped. Later on, a C&AG officer who comes, who again reviews it, he comes up with a different proposition, and based on that, a revisionary order is, revisional authority passes an order. On that, then as from the date of communication, within 3 months, an appeal will be filed before the appellate tribunal. Let me repeat, as the appellate tribunal is not constituted, we have a very clear circular which comes out and says, very clear notification which comes out and says that from the day in which the member, judicial member, or the member technical, member state resumes office, the state president resumes office, from that day 3 months will be counted. So in case if we have a order from the appellate authority and we are aggrieved, what we have to do in case if some of us that bothered about that question, we have two options. If you want to if it is high pitch demand, if you want to proceed to the High Court, yes, you can proceed to the High Court, stating this as a reason. But again, in High Courts also, our personal stand and experiences are, High Courts also ask us to pay the differential pre-deposit amount of 20%, and the matter is now pending before the High Court. Nothing is happening. To the contrary, there are situations where we have certain amount, very small amount, 5 lakhs, 8 lakhs, 10 lakhs, 14 lakhs, 25 lakhs, 35 lakhs. In these kind of amounts and demands, we go on a second route where we will say, write a letter to a jurisdictional officer saying that we have deposited the 20% pre-deposit. In few cases, the officer insists on DRC 03, where we caution there itself, today I will pay this pre-deposit through DRC 03, but tomorrow, if I'm not allowed to file appeal, if I've been deprived of filing APL 05, then that's all. The problem is the respective appeal form is debiting your cash ledgers. If you file a authority for advance ruling, then the respective application goes and debit your electronic cash ledger. APL 01 goes and debit your electronic cash ledger, credit ledger. When that be the situation, so when your form is allowed to go and debit your cash ledger or credit ledger, yes. Tomorrow we have made very clear, wherever DRC 03 is, at times we go and give a plain declaration, this money is being earmarked, we will not use the money. Anytime this cash balance will be there. We are going to contest this matter before the Appellate Tribunal. As Appellate Tribunal is not constituted, we are waiting for, once it is constituted, we will file an appeal before the Appellate Tribunal. So why I want to highlight all this is, these are all the remedies available as it stands today. Similarly, if in a matter, officer is aggrieved by the order passed by the Appellate Authority or any other order, then or a order passed by the, or he is on a, is being aggrieved by the order passed by the Appellate Authority, then he will file an appeal before the Appellate Tribunal, and the time limit is going to be 6 months. Very interesting to note, for some reason known to the RCC, if the appeal is not able to be filed within a period of 3 months or 6 months, can the delay be condoned? Definitely yes. How many days delay? 107, first Appellate Authority or Appellate Authority for that matter. The Appellate Authority can condone a delay maximum of 1 month. Interesting note, Appellate Tribunal can condone any number of delay. There are some income tax cases, interesting cases, where a day of more than 684 days of delay are all condoned. It's purely based on the facts and circumstances of the case and the ability of the counsel who stand before the member to convince the member that this is the reason and this reason is a sufficient cause for it. There are 60 days, 80 days under the pre-GST regime, we could able to convince the reason. One of the case, this is the reason. The reason is, on receipt of the order in original from the service tax department, the employee saw this order in original is because of his mistake only. So comfortably opened his drawer, took some of the papers, inserted the paper and left it there. Comfortably put papers. Within 30 days, he got relieved. And he went with another organization, picked up, but that's all. After the order, 3 months later, a recovery notice comes. Only when a recovery notice comes, we come to know that there is a demand is pending. That to a high-pitched demand of that size and all, 60, 80 lakhs. Then 80 lakhs tax, 80 lakhs interest and penalty, then the matter now raises up to somewhere around 2 crores. Does the RCC has a case to defend himself? Yes. But it was not properly presented before the Appellate Authority. So, courts can condone a delay, tribunals can condone a delay beyond a period of what is specified. Appellate Tribunal can refuse to admit an appeal if the tax amount or the differential tax amount or the input tax credit is less than 50,000 rupees. If the other party files an appeal, the counterparty has to file something called as memorandum of cross objections, and the memorandum of cross objections has to be filed within 45 days from the date of filing an appeal. So if the department goes on appeal, the assessee will get notice stating that against your order, department is now on appeal. A memorandum of cross objection has to be filed. There is a certain process, procedure, format. Similarly, like how we have statement of facts, grounds of appeal, detailed written submissions of grounds of appeal, relied upon document, case laws, all that. There is memorandum of cross objection. Why the ground is wrong? Why this ground is wrong? Why this ground is wrong? And what are all the counter defenses of it? All that need to be replied associated. What is the pre-deposit for the appellate tribunal? Similarly, admitted tax and tax in dispute. Very interesting to note. Admitted tax 100% has to be paid. A sum of 20% of the remaining tax in dispute, in addition to pre-deposit already made. My only emphasis is there. It is not 20%. Already I paid 10%. Now 10%. No, 10 plus 20, 30% we should pay and fight out the matter. Mark my word, there are many cases it's worth fighting. Issues like RCM, issues like 2A3B, issues like ineligibility of input tax credit, issues in connection with few refunds that are being taken, or in connection with certain classification related issues, exemption related issues. Yes, on all these matter. It was a educational institution. Education institution was collecting hostel charges and a mess fee. For the hostel charges and mess fee, it is liable to tax. However, for education, it is not taxable. That was the decision of the officer. With due respect, I completely disagree with the officer. It was a hospital. This hospital was providing, apart from the hospital services, a few taxable services. I'm not questioning that. The hospital also provides a facility so that the doctors from the other places can come attend. It's something like OP facility. The department issued a notice stating that this is a business support service and you are liable to pay tax, which come, in my humble view, it is erroneous. It has to be quashed and it is not sustainable. We have a circular directly clarifying that it is a hospital services provided by both the hospital as well as the doctor. It was a doctor who is practicing homeopathy and he was being said, no, you are being taxable. Very interesting to note. No, homeopathy is also a recognized system of medicine in India and his activities are going to be exempted. There is a priest and there is also a father, two independent files. A priest is receiving money for doing certain specified pujas for and on behalf of various people on an auspicious day. Similarly, the father prays for various people. All these services are exempted. Any services provided by a person who conduct a religious ceremony is going to be exempted. And these are all cases because their file is of a little large file in nature. They do a turnover of more than 25 lakhs, 30 lakhs, 40 lakhs, and that turnover it gets reflected in the income tax, and a cross verification between the income tax and the GST turnover is done. You have not obtained registration, you have not obtained under earlier law, this, that, all the data comparisons happens. Because of that we get, and let me also point out here, if 20% amount is paid, GST tribunal is not constituted. 20% amount is paid, even if DRC 03 is used and we pay the disputed tax and file a intimate the jurisdictional officer should not proceed with recovery proceedings. Whatever I have discussed earlier for appellate authority, same would be applicable for appellate tribunal. Maximum 3 adjournments. Appellate tribunal go into the facts, research on all the matters, come up with various propositions. In case if any decision is stayed, then that period should not be counted while computing that one year time limit. Or if in case the appellate tribunal is going to enhance the fine penalty, or it is going to, which generally they don't do, followed by, in case if they want to reduce the ITC, opportunity of being heard should be given, and appellate tribunal can confirm, modify, annul, and also can refer the case back to the adjudicating authority. Remanding back power will be there. I'm sorry to say, one of the order issued down south by sales tax officer demanding 3.5 crore rupees. Somehow, I was on the flight, I came a little delayed, and then my mobile was on silent mode. I received a call from one of the chartered accountant for more than 18 times. I was surprised. Morning 8:45, why he has called me for so many times? And then when I turn up the call, Ganesh, I have sent a WhatsApp of a particular demand. Can you verify? I saw, what is this? Why he has been demanding some 3 crore rupees on you? No, Ganesh, the assessee's whole turnover is going to be 36 crores. Of the 36 crores, assessee turnover, 3 crores is taxable turnover, and the balance 33 crores is exempted turnover. The officer proceeded with demanding tax on the exempted turnover. Very interesting to note over here, and how much notices, online notices, all important, or all is this case is a very important case on all these matters. A notice was issued originally, ASMT 10, demanding explanation for the 33 crores. This people has not responded when it is originally called for, but at a later point in time, when it is called for, again 6 months later in the ASMT 10, these people have responded, but responded 6 days delayed. That is to say, if 26/3 is going to be the last day to respond, these people have responded on 2nd of April. Okay. Now, what has happened is the officer passes an order 4 months later to this reply. It doesn't mean reply is not filed. Online reply is filed. With due care, of late, what we are all doing is online we filed reply for scrutiny returns, all these notices and all. We also send one fellow, go and file it manually. Let the officer know that, because at times they are not very conversant with it. We are not aware of the fact. At times they see something else. In their login, it is not coming. 100 reasons are there. Now let me come to the core of this discussion. Assessee is selling coconuts. I'm sure everybody sitting here virtually all will agree that coconuts are all exempted. On the coconuts, 18% GST was charged. He completely ignored the reply. In the order, they have passed very clearly saying that show cause notice is, reply to the show cause notice is not submitted. In fact, the online submission is there, reference number is there, acknowledgement number is there. If I go and see now in the portal, it is also there. You say me, is it worth the fight to file 30 lakhs and win this case? I'm sorry. It won't work out. We have to take other options. We took another options and the matter is pending before the court. Within another 2 weeks, we'll get a favorable decision to our account. Now, coming back here, at times we have to take up different matters. In case one such matter, if it is there, then it can be done. The administrative and the financial powers of the tribunal, appellate tribunal more precisely, will be with the national president and the state president in case of regional bench and area benches. So coming back here, then what matters will go to High Court. If any issue involves a substantial question of law, so it should be an order passed by a state bench or an area bench, and it should be involving a substantial question of law. Only then it will go. Whatever decisions that we see now, whatever we go, all are simply nothing but writ petitions filed against assessees. Writ petitions filed by the assessees on certain orders, because the GST jurisdiction, GST tribunal is not constituted very clearly, the regular route is not operationalized, and plus various other reasons. Coming back here, area bench, state bench, if a matter is being pending, the next limb will be the High Court. And High Court would entertain only if it involves a substantial question of law, and within 180 days from the date of order of communication, an appeal before the High Court need to be filed. No, it is an issue involving place of supply or an order passed by a national or regional bench. If it is an order passed by national or regional bench, then directly the matter will go to Supreme Court, or a question which involves a substantial question of law will also go from High Court to Supreme Court. So let me repeat, whatever decisions of Supreme Court, which we have at least about 14 different decisions that we have on GST law, all are nothing but writ petitions, nothing moved on the regular route. Please understand. All are writ petitions filed against certain orders, certain demands, certain positions taken by the assessee, against which they question the validity of this thing. If any matter crosses the appellate tribunal, the assessee want to fight the matter before the High Court or Supreme Court. One of the disadvantage is they have to pay the full amount. Whatever the amount that is being called for, they have to pay the full amount. Only then they can file an appeal before the High Court or Supreme Court. They can fight the matter before High Court, Supreme Court. But whatever amount due has to be paid to the government. You fight it. Once it crosses the tribunal, then it's going to be a very sharp. But what many times, or the precedent, the provisions are all used to be there earlier. Precedents is, we will go pray before the High Court. High Court will say, okay, pay 50%, 50% will pay, 50% guarantee will be given, and the matter is running on. Some of the 2009 related levy itself, still the matter is pending. We have been waiting for the Supreme Court to give its assent in connection with some of those decisions, in connection with renting of immovable property, applicability of municipal taxes, many things of that nature. So coming back here, government can fix monetary limit and say, if the matter is beyond this amount, go to tribunal, go to High Court, go to Supreme Court. If the matter is less than this amount, please ignore it. It is not worth to fight it. Under the earlier law we had, even now we have, as of now, those numbers, limits are all not fixed. I have paid some pre-deposits. What will happen to my pre-deposits? Very simple. From the date of payment till the day it is going to be granted, we will be getting an interest at the rate of 6%, provided we win the case. So a person's, if you have a very good case in his hand, yes, he would be definitely able to win and get a 6% interest. This is something, a lottery, because it's something like a money which is there in the fixed deposit. But in any case, that's not the intention, but the process and settling the points are going to be more important. Who can be the authorized representative? Section 116 discusses about who can be the authorized representative, not only for appellate authority and appellate tribunal proceedings, but for all the proceedings under the GST law, whenever representation made before the officer, for all these purposes, except summons are issued, except certain statements are going to be taken on oath, only on those circumstances, the person has to be present in person. Otherwise, always it can be represented by a authorized representative. An authorized representative can be his relative, can be his employee, can be an advocate who's been practicing or who's not been debarred from the practice. Or he can be a chartered accountant, cost accountant, company secretary who holds a certificate of practice and who has not been brought into any other misconduct. We have a very specific requirement there. Followed by a retired commercial tax officer or a central government officer or a departmental officer. Or it can also be done through a GST practitioner. So these people can represent before the authority and they can represent before till trial. Certain non-appealable decisions, any books of accounts, seized books of accounts, returning the seized books of accounts, matters cannot go to appeal authority. Prosecution related matters cannot be appealed. Wherever a request is made to the commissioner to pay taxes on installment, 24 installment maximum, it can be granted under section 80. A power is there to the commissioner, and that against that order, appeal is not possible. A case is getting transferred based on the powers of the commissioner. Against that, appeal is not possible. A few orders against which appeal is not possible is being very very crystal clearly distinguished in connection with it. Quickly taking your time, just 3 to 5 minutes on a very important power called as revisional authority. Who is this revisional authority? When he will come? This revisional authority will come minimum after expiry of 6 months from the order. Why 6 months after the order? Very simple. Up to 6 months, the order, if a review authority identifies something, he will file an appeal against the order. This is an authority who is going to come after 6 months. Similarly, no revisional power after expiry of 3 years from the date of order. So technically it has to be within 2.5 years after order. That the first 6 months not allowed. So already it is a revised matter, revisional matter, then once again, no more revisional power. So technically, if something is missed by the review authority, a revisional authority come, in my view, largely based on C&AG audits or based on internal various other audits, a revisionary power will be given, and that based on the revisionary power, using rule 109B, notice will be issued under RNA 4, and an order will be passed under APL 04. Order will be passed. As of now, we are getting only orders which are all not favorable to assessing. So there is no question of revisionary authority coming into play, and maybe times ahead which are there, we will have few areas where revisionary authority will be using his powers in a very great way in reviewing certain orders and coming up with different proposals. Above are a few specific discussion in connection with appeals and revision. Any questions, anything, if it is available and subject to time limit, yes, I would take it up. Else, I thank you all for an effective and patient listening.
Yes, sir. We can take a 10-minute for question and answer session, sir. Dear members, if you have any questions regarding the subject discussed, so if you have any issues at the time of filing appeals, so whatever you can ask, sir. So you can give your question in chat box. So there is no questions from members. Anyways, thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much for such a, sir, there is a question. There is a question.
Any exemption for payment of 10% of tax? No, sir.
No.
Nothing. There is no exemption for payment of tax of 10%. Has to be paid.
Sir, after filing of appeal, it is automatically stay, sir.
After filing the appeal, after paying this 10%, it is as good as an automatic stay that is getting granted. We have here 1 or 2 officers said no, how it can be done and all. Provision is very clear.
Earlier in service tax, it was if payment of pre-deposit is made, it is automatic stay.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Okay, sir. Thank you. Thank you. That's all.
Thank you all for your presentation.
Yeah, thank you so much, sir. That was such a nice presentation. Next time we'll have a physical meeting at Guntur, sir.
Sure. Yes.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you, dear members, for participating and having a patience listening. Thank you.